Hello everyone, I am back with the last part of working on our recipe booklet, and in this video I'm going to show you how to stitch everything together, and then I'm going to do a flip through of our completed project. So let's get started. We're ready to stitch this in. One thing I want to do is I took some of this trim, and I don't know if you have enough of this left over, so you might want to grab some other trim, and you don't even have to do this step, but I just want to add kind of a finishing touch to this area here where we attached all of those hinges, just to dress it up a little bit. I will go ahead and glue that trim down, and if you're watching how I'm doing this, you know, maybe you could save some of your trim. I think there's enough left over for all of you to be able to do this. I'm hoping so. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. I know that I'm gonna have to score my flaps here so that we're going to be creating more of an envelope box, I think. And I did this with one of my Valentine's Day card projects. So I'm going to do kind of something similar here. Make sure again. I might just take and mark it. Or just kind of bend it, actually. Just loosely bend it. So more like the 3. Make sure I have this straight. Okay, so we're gonna go. So, to make sure I have it straight. You definitely want to make sure it's straight and not crooked. And then I want to do the other side. Same way. So right at that 3, we need to line up. Make sure that's lined up. Straight and right at that 3. Okay, so now, and this will be stitched in right there, but I definitely want to reinforce this. And I want to extend, I'm going to have to put something here to extend all of this. So I need to do the 3, you know, go at that 3-inch mark the whole way around. Okay, so I need to make sure 1 and 3/8. So I need to score here at 1 and 3/8. And I'm just going to mark that. And the other side. I will need to score that. Make sure this is straight. So now I kind of have this box thing happening, and I need to reinforce these flaps, and I need to add this much so that everything is covered. I'm going to use some of that yellow cardstock, that really heavyweight cardstock from Michaels. Okay, so I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then I have my top flap here, and I'm going to turn my 8.5 by 11 paper so it's in line with my envelope. And then what I need to do is I need to go from this edge right around here and go in 1 3/8, and I'm going to mark it, and then pretty much straight across from there, this side I have to go 1 3/8. So I will mark that right there. So I have my two marks here, 1 3/8 from each edge. And this is just the easiest way I figured on how to do it. There might be a better way, I'm sure there is. Next, I'm just going to line this up against my two reference points. I want to make sure I'm centered here. And then I'm just going to draw around this one flap here. So I do want to round that corner at the top there. And then I'm just going to, let's see, cut straight across here. And I'm just matching up my points here. Okay. So I'm going to have to cut straight up from here. I think. See. Yeah. Okay. And that's actually right where I had my reference marks. So if I would have just followed those. Okay. And then I'm going to trace this onto the other side of this and just cut it. Use my cutter. Right here. And then everything was extended at 1 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Right at the 1 3/8. fold that up and see how that fits inside. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a notch. Oh wait, that's gonna go like so. Yep, that should fit. My other ones here. I think that should work. So I'm going to glue this. Okay, and do the other side. Actually, I can see where I need to glue it because I have my pattern here. Okay, now I have these notches that I'm gonna have to take out. I have to go all the way here. There we go. Okay. So now I just need to extend those flaps a little bit, which I already have these built up. These are my side flaps, so I'm doing the left side. And what I did is, knowing that I took 1 3/8, I'm just going to do the same thing that I did last time. And then I'm going to cut that out. Which is at the 1 3/8, because I'm bringing it out an 1/8, and then I'm at the 1/2, so I can be right on that line. Okay. And then I'm just going to keep this closed and go around this shape here, cut down. And then we have our other flap that we need. We should have more than enough room, and it's closing perfectly there and there. And it's perfectly centered there. So I'm going to glue here. So I have my other piece, the other side. I don't know if I'm going to have enough here. It's going to be close. And I need that 1 3/8 margin. So how I did this is I have my 8.5 by 11 and I have my flap. Just want it kind of going the same way. So what I want to do is I want to have 1 3/8 border going around my flap, because that's how much I extended it by. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this edge, kind of center from where my flap is, and I'm just bringing it down what I would think would be 1 3/8. And I'm going to measure out 1 3/8. 1, 2, and make a dot. And then same on this side, kind of center from where my envelope is, just start right there at that edge. Okay, I need to do 1 3/8, which is right there. And I'll make another reference point. Okay, so now that I have my reference points, I just need to take my flap and bring it so it goes up to those reference points. And once it hits those reference points, once I slide this up, you know, making sure that this top is matching up here, then I'm just going to draw around my flap. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this out. Okay, so I have the extensions put on my flaps, and again I did 1 3/8 of an inch going around the flap, and now I'm going to put this in the center. I think I want this in the center, and so I'm going to use my tape gun to lay that down. I think I'm going to take some more pattern paper and just do this part of my flap here. So I have, you know, so it's decorative there. Perfect fit. So I'm going to do the same thing for my large flap here. Okay, so I decided to go with the same pattern for all my flaps, and now I'm going to distress those edges and start stitching our album in. 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 1/4, and 1 1/4. Alright, and we're going to stitch right along this seam here. You're going to want fairly good sized pieces. I have this, it's kind of like a book twine is what I'm going to use. All I could find was my curved needles. I was really trying to find my straight ones. I don't know where anything is right now. Kind of driving me insane. So we're going to thread our needle. We're going to have to thread this in going on this side of our box envelope here. I tried it on this side and then I realized that my booklet is going, you know, everything's going this way. And the front is this way. I think I'm just going to put some trim there and cover up my holes. Yeah, you get to see me mess this up first, thank goodness. Oh boy. So I'm going to do my holes all over again. I can't believe I did that. Okay, I'm going to do my holes again here with my awl. And then I need to do my booklet. And make sure that it's going to go through my middle page here. Poke there and there. Make sure it's going all the way through. Don't poke your hand. And right there. Okay. And now we can sew everything in. I have my piece of twine. And I'm just going to thread that through like so. And we are going to go through the middle first. I might need to put just a dab of glue there to hold that in place. So I want to go through this middle one first, through that middle hole. And then I have to get to my middle hole here, which is going to be fun. Right there, come on. There we go. And then we're going to want to pull that through. So I have enough to tie with at the end there. And that is going to go, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have to put some glue down to hold that trim. Oh, it might get better once I get this first stitch in, because we're going to want to make sure it's tight after we pull this second part through. And we're going to go through that hole down there. And go right there. And I'm just going to make sure everything's really nice and tight. But I don't want to tear anything either, so you know, you don't want to pull so tight that you're tearing something. And then this is going to go back through. And before I do this, I really need to tighten this up because it is really loose here. I'm going to just kind of hold that and then pull that really tight and there. And I'm just going to keep threading along. Oops. Okay, I gotta keep, seems like I gotta keep tightening these up. And like I said, you might want to clamp yours down. You might find that easier. Just going to pull that really tight and go back through that hole right there. And as far as using a curved upholstery needle, not the easiest, I don't think. Almost there. Go back through this hole. Just gonna pull everything tight, and we're gonna go back through. So I'm gonna go through this loop here. And go back through that hole. Alright, we did it. Now I'm going to just make sure everything's nice and tight. So pull that really tight there. And then I'm just going to make a tie. So you do want to make sure you have plenty, you know, left there to knot it. And then I'm going to put some dots of glue here just to reinforce those areas there. And I think I'm just going to leave a little tie like that. I don't think I'm going to do a bow. My mom did a bow. I mean, I guess you could do a bow if you want to do a bow. I didn't leave enough, really leave enough there to do a nice bow. Now I'm just going to add my glue to these here. These holes, just to prevent it from ripping too. And I'm going to do the same on the inside of the book, just where those holes are. And I'm going to let that dry. And then, yeah, I can do the embellishing and so forth and do a flip through and we'll call it done. Now we have our little booklet all stitched in. I did have to put some trim here because I poked my holes on the wrong side, as you saw. And I do like to show my mistakes, so it's something that you would think of when you go to create it, you know, or if you go to create another one, just making sure that you have everything going the right way, that you're on the right side, and yeah. So now what I need to do is I need to put my closures back on, and I think what I'm going to do is I will use these ones from the Dollar Tree, but they don't work very good. So I'm just going to kind of have them there for placement, and I'll probably go to Joann's and get some better ones. I don't think that they really do a good job of holding everything in place. So we'll just have that there. And I do have to trim that. I just noticed that. And so now what I'm going to do is I have that muslin, and that's where I might take and just to kind of hold this section so it stays down, because I think I have stuff pushing it up. I want to do this. I thought I could do a piece here maybe, and here, and then just tie there. I'm going to cut this in half. And this is going to be the top and bottom here that I'm doing. And I think that this is going to help bring this in. So I'm going to glue this down on this end and then glue this on this end and just do a simple knot. And it will also provide that decorative edge that I'm wanting. I want it just right on that edge there. That's where I want that. So let that dry, and then we'll see how this works. So while that is drying, I think I'm going to go ahead and distress these flaps right here. Okay, so while that is drying, I thought we would go ahead and do our little bead dangle. This will be the last thing that we have to do. So in your bead pack, you should have 2 needles and then a selection of beads. Now, I tried to put them kind of together as to how I thought you might like them, but I don't know by the time, you know, it got to you if everything was still put together. But I'm just gonna put some beads here, and you should have these little spacer things that you can use. Some are really tiny, so you might want to do it in a space where you're not losing all of those. But I'm just gonna grab a few beads, and I think I gave you a few extra, so you may not be able to fit them all on your needle, and maybe you have extras of these and you can make a longer dangle. So I was able to get 3 beads on mine, and then I'm going to do the same with my other one here so I can connect the 2. So let's see, this one will probably be easier because I have a little more to work with on this one. Yeah, this one was much easier to do. So now I have 2 loops, and I can connect that with a jump ring. And I put in some larger jump rings just so it would be easier to work with them. So I'm going to split that, and we're going to connect, let's see, where do I want to connect this? I think at those 2 larger ones is how I'm going to do it. So that is how I did mine, and we can hang that from the side of our book. I'm thinking this should be dry now. So what I'm going to do is push that in, and I'm just going to do a simple little knot. And that did work. That kind of holds everything in there, and look, it kind of looks like a present, huh? And for our bead dangle that I want to put on the side, oh, first, this part, I have my flower that I want to put inside, and then I'm going to put one of those leaves in there as well, and I might glue that leaf down. So there's the front. I think I will glue that leaf down. I think it looks good there. And then I have this little thing of bling, and I might just add some little areas here just to kind of bling it up just a little bit. one maybe on the pumpkin. Down here. My glue there. Little bling. Okay, and now for our dangle, and then it will be done, and I'll do a flip through of our final project here, and then I will be working on getting out the November listing for those of you who want to sign up, and I will be sending out an email to everybody who's had problems updating your payment. Alright, so for my dangle, what I'm going to do is on the side here, I'm going to take and do a hole punch. Okay, so I was able to get it with that. And what I did is I grabbed a brad. Actually, I think I'll grab my awl. That's what I will do now that I got a hole poked through there. And I will just make that a little bigger. Now I will take my brad and see if I can get it through there. So I'm going to take my dangle. And you know, you could add in ribbon and other things. I'm just trying to keep it simple. I have my jump ring. And you could add a little glue, I guess, right there if you want. But now I have my little dangle here on the side of my booklet. And, you know, I might take and add in some ribbon or something to just kind of dress it up a little bit more. Maybe bring this around. There we go. So I just have my little bead dangle there. And that is it. There is our recipe booklet. I hope you all enjoyed this. So in your subscription box, you got most everything to complete this. You received the digital collection free, you got the flowers, you got the die cuts, and you know, you just had to supply some of your own cardstock that you wanted to use. And then you had everything come in the box to create these two projects as well. That is October's subscription box projects. I hope you all enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment. Let me know how you're enjoying this. I really could use the feedback to know what you're all thinking, if you're enjoying it, if you want more, if I should quit and not do any more. And if you do like these videos, if you haven't received a subscription box, you can purchase the digitals and recreate everything you see here, other than, you know, you have to stamp your own sentiments and so forth. You could follow along and recreate everything that I showed here. But if you get the subscription box, you get the digital collection free, plus you get a stamp. All those products that I showed you that came in, you got the watercolor set, you got the stencil, you got the card kit, card pack, you got the Prima flowers, you got the ink, the bead pack, the die cuts. You know, you got all of that in your subscription box, including that free digital, plus you get these projects. I hope you really loved this. I'm going to start working on November's. So let's go ahead and do a flip through and look at everything that we did with this project. So we have the front and we have our two cards here. We have a little apple butter card that we made, and we have one of the recipe cards. The flowers I could glue down in there, but I just kind of like to leave them. And then we have our little leaf embellishment that we did. And so we have our bead dangle that we did. And we have the muslin that we stamped. we have our box, envelope box that we created, and it turned out way different than what I originally planned, but I love the way that it looks. And then we have our booklet here inside. So we have our envelope with the card that came in your subscription box. I might dress up the back here a little more later on, we'll see, but I just put a recipe card on the back. And then we have our mixed media page that we did with the watercolors and your stamp. And again, it'll be different than mine, but I will put the listing below where you can purchase this stamp. It is a new woodware stamp. It's a new release. We have our little flap that we did here. We made this from the packaging that was left over from Prima, and then you can take the packaging, that clear packaging from the Prima flowers, and create a clear pocket with that. So we used our Prima packaging, recycled that, and made our little flap here. And again, I will have the bonus going out with these recipes, so look for that email for the update to get these recipes and some of the additional ephemera that I'm going to include. Here we have one of the recipes that came in the ephemera pack, and we created this little pocket, and then just some space down here where you could add another recipe. We have our little waxed bag here, and I just attached it to a blank index card so you can write a recipe there. And we have our little butterfly paper clip. So again, this will be that one of the updates that you'll receive. You'll get some more of these butterflies that you can cut out and flowers to create these paper clips. And then you received some of your die cuts that I used there, along with the sentiment. And then we created our little pocket here. I used some CD sleeves to create these flaps here. And then just put inside one of the card toppers, but you can use the back to attach a recipe there. So this was one of the additional items that I added. Here I used an airmail envelope and attached one of the designs, created this flap, and inside we have a little waxed baggie with one of the recipes that you'll get in that update, and a blank tag that I added from my own stash as well, along with the airmail envelope. So that did not come in your subscription box, but I wanted to show ideas how you could kind of dress up your booklet. And then I just added in some lined papers so you can write receipts and so forth. Over here we created our flaps with those pockets from the digital collection. And then we have another pocket here with the recipe card. Over here we created a pocket, added in our recipe cards. I did add in a blank index card. So we have a pocket here, and we have another pocket on the outside here. So I created two pockets there. And then with the rest of that packaging from Prima, you can create another clear pocket flap here. And I just added in a recipe card and one of the other recipes that will come in that update. Here I have another waxed bag, and I added one of the die cuts, a sentiment, created another butterfly clip, and then I just backed it with a blank index card. We created that little pocket there. Here is one of the other things you'll receive in the update. I created this little paper clip using this, and we have another recipe and index card, and I just have a pocket here too. And then Just attach that with the paper clip. And then last we have our envelope that we did. We just did this from, you know, those envelopes that you receive when you get your bills and so forth. And we have that card. So this came in your subscription box in your card pack to create that. And then you could put a recipe or a blank index card on the back for more recipes. So there it is. There is our booklet. I love the way it turned out. It turned out better than I guess what I thought originally. And I didn't think I was going to do something quite this complex, but I'm glad I took the additional time to create it this way. Again, I really love the way it turned out, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I truly hope you have enjoyed creating these projects. Thank you so much for all of your support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying these videos, if you're loving these projects. It would really help me out. And yeah, we'll catch you back soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.